Well, hello there, everyone. I hope everyone could hear me okay. If you are here and you can hear me, say hello in the chat. I would love to know what your name is, where you're coming in from, whether that's YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn. I cannot quite see where everyone is, but I am super duper excited for our Ikigai session today. So, I'm going to have a special guest. I will introduce her in a little minute, but I want to do like a little bit of housekeeping and just tell you all what to expect. So, my name's Mercedes. I'm the career love coach, and it's my mission to see 1,000 Black women move into their passion driven dream job. And I think that sessions and streams like today are a big reason that makes that possible so that all of the members of my community can really learn, grow, and benefit from these types of exercises. So if you are here, again, say hello in the chat. I would love to know where you are joining us from. And if there's someone that you know in your life who would benefit from learning the Ikigai method, getting some additional career clarity in their lives, then I would say share this with them. Don't be stingy. I would love for more this anyway, basically this to get in the hands or streams of as many Black women as we can. And so if you're watching this now or later, I want to hear, do you know what your passion driven dream job is yet? If you don't, well, you're here. And if you just kind of want to make sure this exercise is great for you as well. So before I introduce Michelle and we actually do that exercise live together, I want to talk a little bit about what Ikigai is. I want to talk about what the 4 circles are and the Ikigai process, and also how I do these with my coaching clients. So give me just a minute. I am going to share my screen, and it's going to be a little bit of a preview of the exercise again that we're going to do with Michelle in just a moment. So give me a little minute to share, okay? Always wild when you're trying to see what screen you're supposed to be sharing. All right. Okay. So this is, like I said, I'm going to kind of do like a live coaching session with Michelle today. So with the Ikigai method, it is based on this topic or word in Ikigai. It is a Japanese word, and it actually means the reason for being. There is a book that goes along with this topic. And basically, if you want to learn more, you can scan the QR code on that's showing up somewhere here so that you can learn more about what the Ikigai method is and, well, not necessarily this method, but the approach and the purpose behind it. And so when you look at Ikigai from a career standpoint, you probably have heard something about the 3 circles before, but Ikigai kind of has these 4 circles, and it asks you 3 big questions. The first one is what you love. The second one is what you're good at. The third one is what you can be paid for. And the fourth one is what the world needs. And you see that there's some overlap. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen, am I? 1 second. Let me try that again. There we go. Here we go. Okay. So we have Ikigai here. And basically, this is the 3 circles. Okay. So when you are looking at these 3 circles, essentially you want to fill in, or excuse me, all of these circles, 4 circles, you want to fill these in basically in this really great brainstorming session. And then basically, you're going to take all of what comes out in this session and you are going to pull that together and say, what is overlapping in each of those? And that's really the career path that's going to allow you to find and discover what your Ikigai is, what your reason for being, and using that as a basis for your next career step is not only going to help you have clarity, but also understand what you really love doing, what you want to do in the future, and yeah, what's important to you. So yeah, let's get right into that. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything that I wanted to tell you all. Let me get back to my stream notes and make sure. But if you have any questions right offhand about what the Ikigai method is, what it means, all that good stuff, just let me know. And if you're joining here, say hello in the comments. Tell me where you're from and whether or not you found your dream job. Okay, so Michelle, can you give me a thumbs up if you're ready? I can see you, but I can't hear you yet. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna change my screen a little bit and I'm gonna bring you on camera. So let's try this out. This will be my first time doing that. Hello, Michelle.
Hey there.
Well, yay, I can hear you. Awesome. Well, so hi, Michelle. Thank you for joining. Michelle is one of the fabulous ladies in my career love community for Black women to kind of come together and work on their careers. So I do events in there. And also, I give my community members first dibs whenever I'm doing a live like this. So, how are you today? Do you want to say anything? Brief introduction? I know, I put you on the spot, right?
Oh, that's okay. I'm doing very well. Actually, I just wrapped up church about an hour ago, so I'm prayed up. I'm excited about just getting a chance to do some exploratory work. Um, so I'm just looking forward to it.
Yay. Okay. So I know we didn't get as much time as we might have liked to prep beforehand, but it was
Yeah.
good that we kind of did an overview. So do you
Yeah.
have any questions for me before we get started?
Um, Probably be more questions as we go.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good. All right. So give me a moment to share my screen. And basically, oh, share it again. Okay. I'm struggling with the sharing today.
Oh, no worries.
So let's see if we can get it up there. Awesome. Okay, so I see it. Which one do I like better? I'm trying to figure out which view I like. Hi, Denise. Hi, Michelle. Other Michelle. Another Michelle joining the live. So if you're here on Facebook, YouTube, wherever, say hello. Let me know where you're chiming in from and whether or not you, know what your dream job is yet. All right, Michelle. So let's get right into it. So I'm basically going to ask you a couple of questions in
Mhm.
each of these four areas. It's going to really sound like a brainstorming session. So
Oh,
if you feel like you've hit a wall, you don't know what, where to go next, I will help you with that. Just tell me you hit a wall, and I'll ask you
oh.
another probing question to help. Hi, Charlotta. We got the whole gang. All right. Okay. So this first question is, what do you love? And often, if you really start to think of this just from broadly, you could say anything. You love your family, whatever, and then we'll dive into career stuff. Because often that really gets the juices going. So go ahead and tell me a little bit about what you love, Michelle.
Actually, family is probably my um, first love. Um, I really enjoy my role as an auntie and a sister. My sisters and I have a very close relationship. We have the things that I love about my connection with them is just being able to be vulnerable with them, being able to support them in their endeavors as much as I possibly can. It's just seeing them win and knowing that they are equally as supportive of me and my goals. That's something that I really love. Um, I grew up in a family that I feel blessed to have what it is like to have two people. My parents have been married for at least, I want to say 40, about 40 years. And so being able to see commitment, despite the ups and downs and challenges, that has created a sense of security, something that I also really love. It's feeling like whatever just knowing that my foundation is one where security has been fostered. I also um, love feeling like wherever I go, I belong. Um, I, like everybody else, have experienced rejection in various aspects of my life, and there's just nothing like feeling like you are valued, you are welcomed, your ideas, your presence is missed and wanted, just very much like I belong. Um, what else would I say that I love? I'd say also too that I love, I guess I love and I'm inspired by, I don't know if inspiration is another question, but I'm inspired by different symbols of Black excellence. So one of the things that I really admire is historically Black colleges and the legacy of them. I really admire the Black Greek organizations and the purpose of them, aside from some of the negative things that can happen as being a member of it. The reason for their being established, that's something that I love and am inspired by. Um, let's see what else. I think those are the main things that I'd say I love.
Awesome. Okay. I love what we've got going so far. So I'm going to take you another step further into the career zone now that we have our juices going. And my it could be in a work setting, could be outside of work. But what are some things that you've done that you really get excited to do? Or you maybe feel yourself getting lost in it, like you're just so focused and enjoying it that you kind of like forget about time. What are some of those things?
I remember when first started, well, not COVID first started, but when we all had to go into lockdown mode. That was, I know, for many people, a stressful time for lots of different reasons. But one of the things that I did was, instead of panicking, it turned into an opportunity to just be supportive of my nieces and nephews. So when they had to be out of school, I immediately started looking at different resources that we could use to create sort of a homeschooling situation. And this is before, uh, like right at the beginning of us going into lockdown, and teachers doing Zoom classes. So in the interim, and even through the Zoom classes, I was looking up things like different foreign language resources, because they hadn't really been doing a foreign language, not all of them. Looking at even like finance for children. I mean, they learn things in elementary school like how to count um, different types of quantities of money or what have you, but they don't really learn like investment and things like that. So I started immediately kind of looking into all sorts of resources to support them and offer education. And we created what we call Hill Academy. And so my nieces and nephew came over to our house, and we were regularly doing things like we would have prayer and devotion before school. We'd have some exercise, and it did not impact me having to be on lockdown in the way that I know that, like I said, others have, because I was doing something that was easy to do, something that I love, and I was passionate about it because I knew it was um, helping them be successful. So anytime I get a chance to do that, one other thing that I would say that I do and I can kind of get lost in is I really enjoy being able to kind of outfit or style my family and friends if they let me. I enjoy just kind of thinking about what would look good on them, and seeing it all come to fruition. And I often get a chance to do that, for birthdays or Christmas or whatever, or just at random. So those are things that I can kind of get lost in. I also really love learning dances, different types of dance. I praise dance regularly. Well, I used to at my church. Just getting a chance to learn something new, but also learning it for the purposes of, in the case of praise dance, you know, showing a side of God that is inspirational, um, visual, uh, and also allows me also to experience more closeness on a spiritual level. So that's something else I can do and kind of get lost in.
Anything else coming to mind? Now I have some follow-up questions, so no pressure.
No, that's okay. Um, when it comes to work, one of the things that I appreciate is working in the human resources field is I appreciate being able to help people if I can realize some of their um, goals and aspirations. I know there are some who want to, get into other jobs, learn other skills, and so being able to try to help with the that kind of process. Um, or partner with people on their projects. Those are things that I have enjoyed doing. I haven't had a chance to do them as much as I'd like to, but I feel valued and feel like a necessary partner. Anytime I have some sort of project like that or something to do like that, that makes me feel really good.
Sorry, I'm just pausing to make sure giving you time
Yeah.
if you're thinking of other things. So
And those are things that I don't have to. They don't stress me out. I can always get involved in things like that, especially if we are making progress and um, if we meet the whatever the goal is.
okay. So I think I have some follow-up questions for some of these. So this piece that you liked, I know, of course, probably supporting and working with your family members like made this more rewarding. But when you think about the actual activities that you were doing with homeschooling your education, what was the most like exciting thing about that? Was it the curriculum? Was it the educational pieces? What was it?
Mhm. I would say that it was probably educational pieces. Again, because I knew that some of those things that I was looking into, they hadn't really been able to learn, but I knew that they were valuable aspects of education. Um,
Mhm.
and so, one of the other things that I looked into, or my mother did as a former teacher, was things like PBS specials that talk about Black history in a way that they don't really get a chance to learn about it in school, whether it be because of time, it's just in curriculum or whatever, they're missing that piece. And it's a critical part of who they are and should know. And so just getting a chance to enrich them with those educational things was something that I really enjoyed.
Awesome.
And when you
Okay.
say educational piece, are you talking about like, is it are you asking me, is it being able to actually facilitate education, or is it getting the educational resources? I wasn't sure which.
Either one. I mean, I think, yeah. So what's your
I,
answer to that? Thanks for
I,
asking your own question, Michelle.
oh, no problem. It was really fun to discover different educational things that resources that they could use. It was a little more challenging trying to actually implement some of those things, especially when their teachers started having, you know, putting their own curriculum on Zoom. Just trying to find the time for those things sometimes was challenging, but just knowing that there was potential for them to learn those things. So picking out the resources, I think, was the most fun, probably.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. And then I think I love here this part. You pulled out one piece that was like supporting others' projects, and that kind of made you feel good because they were growing, developing, able to accomplish other things. Can you tell me a little bit more about some other things that you might help like doing or enjoy when it comes to helping other people realize their goals? Is there anything else that you might have an example of?
Mm, not at the moment.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I think you described a lot out of that. So I was just like, is there more? Is there more? It's okay. Okay, so going back to the office, are there any projects that you may have been involved in that you really enjoyed, other than again what you might have mentioned, like getting involved in these different projects, but anything specific within that?
Yeah. One of the projects that I was able to get involved in is, well, I had one employee in particular who was interested in just, he was interested in becoming a supervisor. He's still on that path, but one of the things that he was doing was trying to find a way to make sure that he had the ability to kind of market himself, so that whether he stays with the company that he's in right now or goes someplace else, he's able to do it. So I went and found some resources that would allow him to kind of do some sort of soul searching himself. One of the things he wanted to also do as a part of that is to go back to school, but really what he wanted to, pursue educationally. So that was what inspired me looking for resources that would allow him to do some assessments. He also needed support in terms of his resume. He was able to get that elsewhere, but just even kind of thinking about being available in case he needed to have, some support in terms of updating that. Just knowing to be available as a resource for him. Again, he's still on that path. And so right now, one of the things that I do is just check in, periodically, or try to check in periodically to see kind of where he is with that. I haven't done any super big projects or anything like that. Right now, probably the biggest project is our HR team has a remodeling project going on for the purposes in our office for the purpose of expanding our team. And so just doing something outside of employee relations or recruitment or even organizational development training, those traditional things, doing something outside of that that's still very much supportive um, of our like overall team goals, is something that I have found to be really exciting. It's different. It's challenged me in that I had to. I've never had to be a part of, had to, facilitate remodeling or really doing anything like that. So it was very, it has been very rewarding in me being able to just, learn different aspects of how to do something like that, and knowing that it is beneficial for our team.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next section because I think we've got a lot here. Anything else you want to throw in there about what do you love?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, good. Great. All right. So I'm going to take a quick break right before we go there and say hello to anyone who's joined. I've seen we've had a couple of people join since we got started. So I wanted to say welcome, welcome. Happy that you're here. If you are here, say hello to me in the chat. Just say your name, where you're tuning in from. And also, I wanted to share, like, we are using the Ikigai method for here. So you might have to go back to figure out where we are, watch the video later. But I'm really helping Michelle learn where her ideal career path should be. So, okay. All right. So next is what you're good at. So what are you good at, Michelle?
When I was, I, hmm.
I know we're not
Yeah,
nice
I'm
people.
very much at a wall. I don't know. Uh,
Okay. What has family, friends, coworkers, supervisors, what have they told you that you're good at?
Definitely, when it comes to this is just my primarily my family. Well, yeah. So with my family, they really admire my sense of, I guess, style. Kind of back to the styling, my family and friends. They're open to my advice as far as that. It's not just with clothing, but even when it comes to just decor in general. Um, they trust my judgment on what will work for them or what will look good in their space. Um, the thing that I've heard a lot from friends or just associates is my ability to communicate. Um, I I don't really know what they're hearing. I'm just speaking. Um, and but I mean, and it's I know sometimes it can get a little bit strange if it's coming depending on the source that it's coming from. It can make you wonder, like, what did you expect to hear? But this is coming from all sorts of people, so that I'm good at communicating or presenting. um, Also, that I tend to be someone who I tend to be soft spoken, and for whatever reason, that in and of itself seems to make people feel comfortable with speaking with me, feeling like I am willing to listen and offer genuine support when there is. Something distressing going on with someone. So that's a, I guess, skill that has come into been relevant, especially in HR and when dealing with employee relations matters. Um, I'm professional. That's something that I hear a lot. That's probably something that I'm also kind of like, this is kind of an expectation, right, at work. But that's what I've gotten quite a bit. Um, and that I conduct myself with respect in class. So these are not like these are obviously very much soft skills. I can't think of any like hard skills that anybody in particular, except for maybe this kind of the styling, my family members, that I can think of.
Yeah,
This
I
kind
mean,
of engagement, I guess.
say that last part again.
I guess just kind of interpersonal engagement and seems to be, a strength.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like you're like I didn't say much, but I think these are really helpful and they're adding up from some things that I'm keeping on paper for myself that I think I'm seeing some trends already. So you're doing great. I think my next question was, what are some things that you do on a daily basis at work or personal that just come easy to you?
Mm. I think probably something that comes easy to me is, I know I'm using this term a lot, but being supportive. And one way I offer support is I genuinely pay attention to kind of the moods of the people around me. Um, no matter who it is, even if I don't particularly care for that person, I'll still check in with them and kind of make myself available to allow them to, you know, express, whatever is making them happy or whatever is making them, concerned. Um, that's something that is easy for me to do. And I honestly think that a lot of that comes from being a part of a family that is, you know, that way. That's kind of the makeup of my origin family. Um, so that being that kind of person is something that comes easy to me.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Anything else that you'd like to add here that you haven't already?
Um, Going back to talking about some of the things that I really enjoy doing, but come easy to me is usually learning dances. That's something that comes easy to me. Um, and so that's
You're good.
it.
You're okay. You're good. All right. So the next one is what you can be paid for. I know you literally can be paid. Like, right? We recently can literally be paid to do almost anything. But just what are some of the things that have come up for you or that you've seen that maybe even sparked interest for you that you think you could be paid for?
I have wondered if being like a buyer, even though it's a very different field from where I am right now, I have wondered if being a buyer would be something that I really enjoy. Um, when it comes to HR, I have not had an opportunity to do as much when it comes to training. But training and development is something that I think that I have the temperament for. I'm able to be patient with people who have different levels of learning.
Mhm.
Um, and I like seeing people have their light bulb moment. Um, um, Probably also project management. It's something that is one thing that I mentioned in our It's Giving Hired webinar or uh, meeting. That is a skill I'd really like to kind of hone.
Mhm.
I think that is something that I know that that's something that I could get paid for. And if I continue in HR, that's certainly I can get paid for that.
Anything else?
Um, that's about it right now.
Okay. Cool. And I know when we were talking again to bring up the webinar, I think you were throwing around a couple of additional ideas. I think they were all in HR, but do you recall what those are?
Yes. So there was being kind of like I guess HR operations, or maybe I don't, an operations specialist, someone that is able to, but able to use HR. Think some of the transferable skills that I have to inform that kind of a role. And then I think the other one was other than HR and operations, diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's something that I do have had a chance to kind of dabble in my current job, but it hasn't like taken off as much as I would like to. Just the environment has been one that unfortunately hasn't been very receptive as I'd like to see. Um, so but it's something that it's very meaningful to me because that just kind of just like I want to feel as though I am belong and that I'm valued, and I know that I'm not the only one. So
Beautiful. Okay, I was like, I feel like there are other things that you said just a few days
Yeah.
ago. All right. Okay. And this last one is, what does the world need? I love that it sounded like you were already talking about what the world needs. So hopefully you can just roll right into this. This is intentionally a very broad topic. So whatever comes to mind, just let it go and it will end up on here. So, yeah, what does the world need?
This leading off from diversity, equity, inclusion, people, it is a human need to know that where you are, know that you feel like you belong. So I don't think that'll ever be something that is not needed. Um, I do feel like it's an uphill battle for many of us who, have either worked in that area or had a chance to do some projects in it, and it's unfortunate, but um, I think the world needs um, people who are who genuinely care um, about and are willing to kind of get involved in someone's life um, um, in a positive way. Um, I think the world needs people who are willing to be. Um, I don't know that I'm that great at it myself, but people who are willing to be patient with them as they go through, their learning processes.
Anything else?
Um, I think the world needs to. I'm not sure where I come in with respect to this, but um, I think the world needs to have. I'll speak specifically about our country. I think that in our country we are very much overworked, many of us, and it has led to just thinking about my own organization. I don't think I've ever seen or heard about as many people struggling with mental health, anxiety, and depression in particular as I have where I am right now and at this time. And I think a lot of it has to do with just the pressure to perform and produce and be profitable. Otherwise, you're not going to be fulfilled or successful or happy or whatever. Just being able to learn how to prioritize things differently. I know a lot of us talk about self care, but I'm not altogether sure that you know that it's an idea that is. We still have a lot of work to do around that. Self care, work life balance, things like that.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it for now.
Okay, awesome. So you did great. I have one last question, which technically isn't an ikigai, but sometimes does help me from a career coaching standpoint to just make sure I'm not, recommending anything out of pocket. So, is there something, and I don't mean just like things that happen at work, because a lot of things happen at work that we hate.
Okay, because I was gonna go there to work.
At work. Anything
Yeah.
like that.
Um, I don't like it when I really hate it when and just when people don't mean what they say. One of the things that has been a source of frustration for me at work is I hear a lot of people talk about culture, the space where I work, and how we want to, be involved in a culture change, all of that, which is just real, but it's not. I'm not seeing it implemented enough, and especially by those who have the organizational positioning to be able to drive a positive culture change. It's just disheartening.
Mhm.
It feels like there is unspoken rules, and I'm sure a lot of people understand, politics. I hate that, especially when I understand that it's going to be wherever I go, but it's, especially if it's in a toxic environment, the politics are just for people who care. Who care? It brings down your morale, and the pressure to kind of conform to that. It's the whole fighting an uphill battle is just very stressful.
And would you say, like, in those cases, you okay, so in a position, right? You could be in a position where you're maybe working with or telling people or advising, however you want to say, one person to another about these things or why these are issues or things like that. Do you think you would enjoy or hate kind of advising others about these types of issues in the workplace?
Mm. I would enjoy advising if I knew it was going to be if I knew it was going to go anywhere.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I have some ideas, and there's some very big trends in what I've seen thus far. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a moment,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to basically the put all these into this document. You will have this document later so you can review them, the career paths, but I'm basically going to add them to this document and then you will talk about them a little bit and you'll say like what stands out to you, what doesn't stand out to you. And I'll also give you the justification for why I put these on here. So
Mm-hmm.
give me just a second.
Mm-hmm.
While I'm doing that, I always have a shameless plug for you all, okay? Right? I always have a shameless plug. So if you were enjoying this session and you would also like to do a one-on-one clarity session just like this, like Michelle's doing, you can scan the QR code on this page and you can purchase your own session. They're $99 just for today. You're going to save $50 if you decide to do one of these clarity sessions. It's here. And so y'all can do that while I'm there. And sorry, Michelle. Also, do you want me to turn off your camera while I'm like doing this? Do you,
No, you're fine.
okay, you're there. Okay, I was just like you're just staring at a screen for a little minute. So I'm gonna put these here. It's kind of like this awkward silence. We do this. Ah. Okay, let me go back through this really quick just to make sure not missing anything. I'm almost done though. Okay. Oh, that was the other thing. Okay, I'm gonna put this down here as a secondary. I'm just talking to myself. I'm like, what else did I see in here? Okay. Um, all right. Okay, let me share my screen again. Okay. All right, Michelle. So I have what I thought was the strongest that showed up in everything, and then I put what I think is the secondary in terms of themes. And so usually what happens is, oh, let me hide this so you can see our faces. So usually what happens is I see things that are in every single circle, and then there's a career path that I think aligns most with all of those. So that's what's under this potential one. However, there are usually some things that people are like, maybe not. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with this, XYZ. And so sometimes the ones in the secondary column kind of look a little bit more aligned with what you're looking for. So I'm going to go through all of them, and then at the end, you can tell me which one you feel like you're leaning towards. So one of the things that you said in every single section was learning, whether it was you learning or sharing something with somebody else. Like learning is something that you're passionate about, and you're passionate about helping others people do that. And in this really supportive way, like you want them, it's like, I don't want you to just learn a topic so that you can do your work. Like I want you to learn a topic so that you can improve, so that you can be better, so that you can be inspired. And then I also heard DE&I in different spaces. Like I want others to be included. I want others to enjoy their work or not be bent out of shape or whatever it is, right? So that's how I got to these two. So I would say like I was a little bit on the fence about DE&I being in that top category until you got to your like, what do you hate moment? I was like, oh, this is it. Because, and also there are DE&I roles that come from a training aspect, right? So you're like, are they going to hear me? Are they going to want to implement that? And so you being in a training role that's talking about DE&I, the importance of it, different ways to ingrain that into your organization, I think is something that aligns with what you said. I don't know if it necessarily means all shapes and forms of DE&I, but certainly from a training lens, I think that that learning and that educational piece is what will propel you to kind of push through the, anxiety that is working in a DE&I role, right? Or the stress, however you want to look at it. And the second one was talent management. Talent management, depending on the organization that you're in, could look very employee relations like, could look very training like, could look actually organizational development like if it's looking at promotions or succession planning and those types of things. But I think it really kind of is like what talent management as positions are interesting to you, because I could really see you being that point person that's meeting with employees and identifying those professional development plans and understanding how that relates to the organizational goals and things like that. And I heard that in every single section for you. Those two are the ones that I would say are the top two. These other ones I'm going to go through really fast because it's a couple, but you can still explore them, right? So this first one is stylist. You seem like you love doing it. It's a passion. The reason why, and I thought when we were going through this, I was like, this is going to be in the top, because you're talking about this a lot. But when we got closer to the end about what you can be paid for, it seemed like it didn't really feel like something like that was a reasonable, or I shouldn't say reasonable, but a career path that you wanted to follow, because I didn't see it come out here in the what the world needs and what you can be paid for. Buyer, somewhat, but I didn't see like the analytical or the data or other things like that process that I would associate with like a buyer. So that's one of the reasons that I said stylist, right? That is a career path. Okay. And I know sometimes we look at our passions like that, like fashion. Is that really a career path? Yes, people get paid to do it. Okay. The other one was educational program management. I really saw you saying like, I love identifying and seeing ways that people can learn. And I love seeing how that comes together to create this experience that again is educational, but that kind of that you get to really pull that experience together, right? Your Hill Academy, what I saw in that. And so I think that probably there are, I would say probably needing to be in a higher education or, primary education, whatever, or maybe even in a nonprofit or an organization that has like robust educational programs. But it could be you're in a role that you're basically overseeing an education program. Like I think that aligns. Organizational development, I was honestly kind of almost putting this one into other areas because it came up somewhat like you kind of wanted to see like, okay, if I'm looking at an organization promotion wise or needs or staffing or projects like that, or like seeing the organization grow and develop, and what do we need to do that, what do we need culture wise, people wise, process wise to do that. And I saw that come up in some places, and so again, that's why it's under secondary. The other one is career coaching. Like I saw you like talking about like that growth perspective and promotions and people learning. Again, part of I think career coaching and can be holistic, and that's how I kind of view career coaching is it's not just that career piece, like it's mindset, it's health, it's wellness. Especially when we start talking about Black women or other Black Indigenous people of color. That is such an important thing. We can't just look at career. And then so the last thing is wellness. That came up because you were talking about like burnout, health in the workplace. There are wellness teams that kind of focus on those types of things. I have even seen like wellness kind of be a part of talent management as well. So it could be something where you can marry those. Doesn't mean you want to get that niche in your job search, but certainly like see these different areas, right? The last one here is employee relations. Like I only saw it come up like in other ways, and I kind of felt like it was like it just needing support and you're the HR person. And so that's why I said other areas, but it came up a lot. It could just be that it's stressing you out. But it was kind of like it's stressing me out. Like I don't want it. There. I can kind of see it on your face. You're like, no ma'am. So yeah, I'm gonna pop this in our little chat right here so that you have it, our private chat in the room. And then I'm gonna like let you, yeah, reflect on some of these. What are your thoughts?
I definitely can relate to. I think this list is on point with the DEI. Well, actually, I'll talk about the talent management and the aspect of like professional development. One of the things that I have touched on when it comes to just conversations with our manager is some of the things that I'd like to do with some of our team. So we recently were able to fulfill um, get we were working for a couple of years on getting talent for one of our functions. They had been short staffed for a while, and we finally were able to fill that team up. And one of the things that I immediately kind of thought about, because some of the talent, a good portion of the talent is young talent, just graduated college or whatever. And I was immediately thinking about connecting with them for the purposes of talking about professional development and career paths, how we can, help to guide them. I kept calling it succession planning, but I think I just misunderstood. There was just a semantics or term misunderstanding about the term. But my vision was they're here now. Let's start to work with them on what they want to do. So this is something that I very much would like to see as more of a part of my job if I, assuming I remain in HR. DEI in terms of training, that I could see me being very passionate about. Definitely would love to know that people are hearing me, but if nothing else, it is planting a seed, and also, it avoids people being able to claim ignorance um, about what they don't know about how to interact with people who are different from them. So, aspects of my job, including those things, I don't necessarily need that to be the job, like this is all I do. I like variety. And so if that was an aspect of my job, I really could appreciate that. Um, if I jump down to employee relations, I will just say, at least in my current place of business, it's a source of stress. um, it's great when things go well, and whatever the end result is, if it was fair, that gives helps me to have peace. But again, thinking about like just the politics, that's the part that stresses me out.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't like it. Um, in terms of the secondary, yeah. Right now, in terms of being a stylist. Right now, I feel like that's just something I like to do for the folks that I'm close to, who I've had a chance to, you know, observe them and know their personalities and understand what would work for them. On a larger scale, I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but I'm also not like at a point where I would be ready to invest in that as a career.
Mhm.
Um, Education is very much a passion of mine. I've thought about and have a desire to actually start a scholarship. But prior to starting a scholarship, I would like to just be able to just be in a position to where I can donate I do things right now where I'll support organizations that have scholarship funds, like some of the Black Greek organizations that have scholarship funds. I attend their events for the purposes not only of socializing, but I know that the proceeds are going to support, Black children who are matriculate. Um, so that's a passion of mine too. And wellness, I thought about as being something that I could be involved in as kind of an extracurricular in my job. I actually member of our wellness committee, and so that's yep. And I can see that as part of talent management too, helping people to think about as you come in from day to day, what types of things can you do to get through your days that will help you maintain your peace.
Mhm. Yeah. So I know you have probably a lot to think about. What I would say is I know a lot of times when we come into an Ikigai session, where sometimes, well, I guess for career clarity in general, we may or may not already have thoughts or ideas about where we're going. So
Mm-hmm.
you're not in a rush to make this decision, but I will be checking in with you in the community and see what you decided. But one thing that I want to tell you is I know you've been in this HR career, you've been doing your thing.
Mm-hmm.
There still can be a lot of variety for you in these other areas, and maybe you're cutting out some of those other stress. So I'm not telling you that you need to specialize, but I'm saying that you
Yeah.
don't want to continue to stay so broad when your passion could be really in those areas and you could be fulfilled and still have that level of variety every day. So I always want
Mm-hmm.
to show the other side of that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is our Ikigai session, and take some time to explore, research, and pick which area you're going to move forward in. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll see your thoughts. So now I'm going to open it up. Well, I'll ask first, Michelle. Are there any questions that you have for me? And then I'll open it up to anyone that we have on the stream that has questions. Yeah, for me. So.
Not so much right at the moment.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to open it up to anyone that we have on our stream if they have any questions. So I'm going to type in there really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? I don't even know if this is showing up on other places. I wonder, I guess we'll see. So,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, Q&A is open if you have any questions as you've joined. But Michelle, this was really great, and I'm excited for you, and I can't wait to figure out or find out. I shouldn't say figure it out. You're figuring it out. I'm just finding out basically where you decide to go in your career. So I don't know if you want to say bye, but I'm gonna like hide your camera so I can close out the video and answer any last questions. So
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
thank you for being willing to do this on the stream. It was awesome. All right, see you later, Michelle.
Okay.
All right, everyone. So I don't see any questions in the chat, but as always, it was so fabulous having you all watch us do this exercise. I absolutely love doing Ikigai exercises because often it's a way to get somebody else besides us to see our blind spots or where we should be and the trends that are showing up in our entire career and what we love doing, what we're passionate about. And I ultimately believe that when we're able to really tap into this passion, we're able to leverage it to really see long-term success in our careers because that passion, I believe, propels us forward. So as we close today, again, I don't know if I can share both of these at the same time. Can I share both? I can't share both. But if you want to learn more about Ikigai, the reason for being, this Japanese concept, then you can, of course, get that book there to just learn a little bit more. You can also go and do this exercise on your own time and use this as a way to really help you get clarity on your next step in your career. If you'd like to work with me to do that, you can, of course, book a one-on-one career clarity session. If you're watching this today, November 5th, 2023, then you can save $50 on your clarity session just for today. With all of that being said, if you know somebody who would really value from the information that I've shared in this live today, I really encourage you to share either the recording on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're watching this. And it's been super fun to do this with you. Okay, so I'll see you for the next event or live or whatever. Okay, bye. I'm supposed to be finding a button now. There we go.